Hello and welcome to your full moon yoga practice. Today's practice is going to be a short, gentle and grounding practice to help you work with kind of the excitability of the full moon energy. And full moons are often seen as a time of completion, a time of closure, a time to let go of anything that you're ready to let go of and release. Whereas the new moon is more of a time of new beginnings, planting seeds of intention that you want to create in your life. So you'll have a little bit of a space here at the beginning of the practice to become really intentional about something maybe that you're ready to let go of in your life. And then we'll move through just a really, like I said, nice and gentle grounding practice, focusing on release in the body. Focusing on letting go of stress and tension and holding in the body that isn't necessary. And hopefully you can think of this practice a little bit like a ritual. So we're moving, we're breathing, we're being intentional with our focus. And we are engaging Earth in a way, right? The natural cycle of the moon, we're engaging Mother Earth to support us in this process of becoming new over and over again, which involves letting go. So thanks for joining me. And we're going to start in a seated position. So I am sitting cross-legged up on a bolster. You could sit on your knees if that feels better for you. Get comfortable. Choose a position that feels really good to you. And feel free to close your eyes, and you might want to just check in with yourself and see if that's your preference today, if that allows you to be more internally focused with ease, or if having your eyes just gently open actually allows you to feel more connected. So you choose. And then connect in with your breath. And sometimes it's instantaneous where as soon as we tune into our breath, there's this big inhale. And then there's this complete exhale that happens. Right? Our body beginning to kind of drop into this moment a little bit more fully. And becoming soft with yourself. So as you are turning your attention inward, right, that kind of initial deep breath in and that nice complete breath out may have already shifted the tone of your body. But then see if you can take that just a little bit further and just feel an overall softening. And for us, for our bodies to really soften, right, we need to feel safe. And so I just want you for a moment to consider, do you feel safe right now? And maybe there's something that you can do to facilitate a bit more safety in your body, right? Maybe it means shutting a door. Maybe it means putting a blanket over your shoulders, right? Just tune in and see if there's any way for you to cultivate a bit more safety. Because as that safety is established, right, the body and the kind of alertness on that somatic level can begin to quiet a little bit. And sometimes the safety comes from your mind actually relaying to your body, you are in a safe space and it's okay for you to let down your guard a little bit and just begin to soften, right? Relax, come into a more receptive state. And then let's just take 5 slow breaths here. And maybe you even add a little sound to your breath, utilizing that ujjayi breathing. Just 5 slow breaths. Cultivating that initial softening in your body, right? Becoming a little bit more receptive, acknowledging the safety that is here right now with you. And connecting into the full moon energy. And maybe even in your mind's eye, you just make a little connection, right, to the moon, feeling into the fullness of the moon, the energy of the full moon. And reflecting on what feels complete in your own life, right? Where is there a sense of completion? Where are you ready to let go of something? Sometimes we prematurely attempt to let go of something, but we're not quite there yet. We're not quite ready yet. We haven't maybe learned all the lessons, or we haven't explored it enough, right? There's more there. So bringing this inquiry forward, what's complete in my life, and how can I honor that completion through this practice today so that I can gracefully, easily let it go. So just to acknowledge, be intentional about what you're letting go of. And then take a nice deep breath in through your nose and just sigh it out. Do that twice more. Breathe in deeply through the nose. Sigh it out. Beautiful. One more time. Deep breath, breathing in. Breathing out. When we let go of things in this way, we are honoring them, right? Even if what we're letting go of has been hard, or maybe it's brought pain into our life, suffering or struggle into our life, we can realize it's completed its journey through our lives, and now it's time for it to release. We can honor whatever it is and allow grace to sweep it away. So let's take the fingertips out right alongside the body. Turn the palms up and take a nice deep breath and just let your arms stretch up overhead. Maybe gazing up as well, touching the palms at the top. And then as you exhale, bring the palms down through center. Sweep the arms out and up, breathing in. Breathing out, thumbs to the heart. Do that one more time, breathing in. And exhaling, bringing the thumbs down through center. Good, and then just letting your hands release alongside your body. Eyes could blink open if they're still closed, and just stretch your legs out for a moment. If you were sitting cross-legged or on your knees, you might want to just give them a little wiggle. You could massage your knees, like a little rub. And then just circle out your ankles a few times here. So just like we're honoring the letting go process, honoring what it is we're releasing today. We can honor every part of our body. So as you're circling out your ankles, pretty basic movement, but I'll tell you, if you ever have an ankle or a foot injury or a toe injury, man, giving your feet every little bit of love and attention means a lot. Right, helping them feel good. So you can wiggle your toes. Maybe your toes and your ankles will pop and crack a little bit. Good. And then after you've kind of warmed up those feet and ankles, let's come over onto our hands and knees. That back. And we'll do some warm-ups here for the spine. So tabletop position, just lining up your hands right underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Starting really basic here, just as you inhale, begin to arch your spine. Let your toes tuck and lift your chin, open up your throat. Take a breath in. And then as you exhale, point your toes back, push through the hands and round out your spine. Take this movement forward and back at your own pace and let your body really kind of guide your attention and guide the movement. So again, that you're starting to support release. So not just moving through the movements in kind of a robot way, but feeling your way through the movements. Becoming sensitive to the parts that are holding on. And seeing what those parts might need to be able to let go. Take about 3 more movements just like this. And after your exhalation, your next exhalation, just bring yourself back through center and then tuck your toes and sit back onto your heels. And this is where you gotta sometimes pull the pinky toes a little bit forward because they're stubby and short, at least mine are, so you can bring those forward into the stretch here. And if this is too much for you, you can stay leaning forward or just elevate and then maybe sit back a little bit and kind of come in and out of it as you are able to. And then just like we did with the ankles, give your wrist a little attention here. So just circling out your wrist. And finger painting, so just letting all your fingers move around, your thumbs. Good, and then give your hands a little shake. Maybe breathing in through the nose, side out. Good, and then big sweep up of the arms, inhaling. And as you exhale, just letting those arms float all the way back down and then walk your hands out. We're gonna give the toes a really good tap here. So lots of blood flow down into those feet. And again, letting go. So when we pound out our feet like that, sometimes I call it the adult temper tantrum. Maybe I've said that in another video, but it's a nice way to let go of aggression, frustration, irritation, and energy that keeps us from being grounded. All right, good. So then from there, walk your knees out wide and just pull your hips back and take a child's pose for a moment. Let your forehead touch down. And as you rest here and focus in on your breath, just put yourself right at the center of the moon. The moon is full, it's bright, it's at a point of completion. And as you center yourself within the moon, allow it to register whatever is already complete in your life as well, to honor that. so that as it releases, as it falls away, it can do so with ease and grace. Take 2 more slow breaths here. Good. And then on your next inhalation, come back up onto your hands and knees and walk your hands in so that they're, walk your knees in, sorry if I said hands, and they're right underneath your hips now. And then you're gonna come back again and we're gonna do a spinal push. This is one of my favorite moves, so simple, but so favorite. Hands are gonna come right alongside your knees and you're just gonna breathe in and lift your hips and roll to the top of your head. So your elbows hug in, so they're stacked over your wrist. Chin is towards the chest, and you're just bringing weight right to the crown of your head, pushing into the hands enough so there's a little lift coming up through the front of your chest. Breathe in, and then really relax your jaw as you push off your head and take your hips back. Do that twice more. Come forward, massaging along your scalp. Inhaling, exhaling, push off your head. Use that as leverage for your whole body to shift back. One more time. Inhaling, come forward, nice and slowly rounding out your back. And then push off your head. And hips to the heels. And then let your arms stretch back out long in front of you. Deep breath in. Let go, let your body sink, let your body drop into the floor as you breathe out. And then rising up, coming onto your hands and knees, coming into a tabletop position. And we're gonna press into the left hand, reach up with your right arm. And really open your chest towards the sky, gaze up. Another opportunity if you wish to roll out your wrist and finger paint. And then as you exhale, weave this right arm underneath, thread the needle, tap your shoulder down, push into your left hand a little bit so that you again are creating some leverage here to roll your chest open towards the left. And then we're gonna float all the way back up. So inhale, rise on up. Exhale, weaving right arm underneath. Tap down for a moment. One more time, inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, weave it underneath. Good. And then come all the way back up, inhaling. And exhale, just releasing that right arm down. And we'll switch to the second side. Press into your right hand, lift up your left arm, inhale. And really stretch your gaze up if you can. Remember, you can always stretch your wrist some more. Exhale, weaving the arm underneath. Tap your shoulder down. Push into your right hand, again for some leverage. And then we do that twice more. Come all the way up, inhale. And as you're flowing through this, you can let your body shift. I'm adjusting like my legs a little bit, I'm adjusting my hand a little bit just to find my sweet spot. One more full round, breathe in, lift, and open and exhale. Good, and then come all the way back up, breathing in, and then exhale, release. Come back to your hands and knees. Find your tabletop position. And then this time from tabletop, we're gonna take a puppy pose. But first, just press through both hands, round your spine. Breathe the air out. And then inhale, come back forward. And then walk your hands out. And you're gonna lower your forehead to your mat. So I call this puppy pose. Sometimes it's called heart melting pose. And then once you're there, your hips should be able to kind of remain up in the air easily. And your torso is suspended between your arms and your hips. And I've mounted my elbows all the way to the floor and started to walk the elbows in close to my head and then rotating the palms up towards the sky and letting my back, my spine just melt into my body. And you can even take this a little further if you'd like, bringing the palms to press and lifting your elbows up, bringing the thumbs towards the back of your neck. And And again, the elbows, you're walking them close together and forward. So you're stretching through the triceps. Hold here and breathe, and think about letting go around your heart, your shoulders, and your spine. And if you feel strain at all, like in your low back, for instance, just tuck your tail a little bit and pull the navel in towards the spine, or lift those front lower ribs up into the body. Release your jaw. You could breathe out through an open mouth. Let's take 3 more breaths here. And you might be able to feel one shoulder is tighter than the other. One side of your back is more tense than the other. And that's all okay. This practice is an invitation to those parts to release as much as they're able to. The exhalation is really supportive of the letting go. So breathe out one more time. Feel where you might be able to soften. And if you've lifted your hands, your forearms, just lower those down. Turn your palms down. Keep your forehead down for a moment as you start to inch your elbows back if you can. You want to come up kind of gently, kind of slowly. Back up to your hands and knees. And then press through both hands, round your back once more. And then inhale, lengthen, come back in through a neutral spine. And then just one more time, take yourself back through child's pose. Pause for a moment. And sometimes for this particular child's pose, instead of the arms forward, maybe you wrap them back alongside your body and really let your shoulders drop to the floor. Take a full breath right into the back, into your spine. Breathing out, shoulders drop down towards your mat. Good, and then let your arms stretch back out in front and come up onto your hands and knees. Tuck your toes and take a downward facing dog and just wake up your legs. Pedal out your feet. Maybe shake out your neck for a moment. Tune into your breath. Focusing on the exhalation, focusing on that release that comes as you breathe out. And then walk your hands back towards your feet. Feet are hip distance apart. Grab a hold of your calf muscles. Grab hold of your ankles. Grab hold of your big toes if you'd like with your peace fingers. Take a breath in as you stretch your spine out, and then exhale, just fold yourself forward. Perfectly fine to have your knees bent. So it's not necessary to kick something out of your life. Instead, can you think about what is complete? Am I truly done with this? Am I truly done with this habit, this behavior, this person, this relationship, this job, this old piece of clothing, whatever it might be? Am I truly done with this? Is this complete? For real? And if so, just breathe it out. Honor it. And then let it go. So you might wiggle out your shoulders a little bit, shift your weight a little left to right. Let's take 2 more breaths here. Just letting energy pool in those feet a little bit. Feel your sense of groundedness. As you breathe out here, really let go along your spine from the tip of the tailbone all the way through the crown of your head. And then as you breathe in, lengthen out your spine, pull the shoulders down your back, and release your toes if you've got your toes. Take your feet out wider for a yogi squat, bend your knees. See if you can come all the way down, and you might get your heels to melt into the floor. Now, if you're somebody who is not comfortable here, stay more upright. You can bend your knees just a little bit. You can also sit on some blocks or a nice thick folded blanket. And if the heels just don't want to touch the floor, you can roll up a blanket and place it underneath your heels. There's lots of ways to be here. And it's nice when you support your body, because then you really can get into the grounding energy that this posture invokes inside of you. You can really tap into it. So maybe rock a little bit side to side, opening up those channels down into your ankles and into your feet. Just stay here with this and feel into your body, honoring your body, however it is presenting itself to you today. And is there any place inside of your body right now that as you breathe out, you might be able to find some softening? Maybe it's through your jaw, just breathe out through your mouth. Let's take one more breath here, just breathe in and out. And then shift yourself a little bit forward and let those legs extend back out. And you can draw your feet back in. Maybe take a little shake out of the knees. Let's breathe out here. And as you inhale, find some length again through your spine. Really see if it can be stretchy here. So you're stretching through your spinal cord, out through your eyes, pulling the tailbone back. And then come back into your downward facing dog. And we're going to prepare for pigeon pose. So I'm going to have you start by lifting your right leg up. Again, you could circle out your ankle, wiggle your toes. You could bend the knee for a moment, straighten it. You could draw some big circles from your hip joint. Breathe in. And then we're going to bring this right knee towards your right thumb as you exhale. And here too, you might just shift your hips around, wiggle a little bit in the pose. You want to try to feel that this back left thigh is down on your mat. For many of us, the hips always will show us a little bit of tension, a little bit of holding, right? Because they work so hard, walking us around, running us around, biking us around, sitting us all over the place. So take a moment here, feel into those hips, just breathe down into your pelvis. And you might stay up like this, or walk your hands out and let yourself shift forward. So anybody who struggles with this pose because maybe your knees are unhappy, I'm going to show you an alternative, but if you're happy here, stay here in your traditional pigeon and just really sink into those hips and keep the breath deep. And if you're not able to do pigeon, this is often called sleeping pigeon. So your left foot's on the floor, you're just going to cross your right ankle over your left thigh. And then from here, if you're able to, you can reach down and try to hold on to your left thigh, interlacing the fingers behind the thigh. Flex your right ankle and kind of press your right knee away. And you could rock to the left and to the right, deepening into the stretch. And if you can't get your hand around your left thigh, this is where like a belt or a towel comes in handy, and you can wrap it around and hold that. Sometimes you get plenty stretch keeping the left foot on the floor and just letting this right knee gently draw away. I'm gonna go back into the traditional pigeon pose. We're gonna stay here for about Maybe 5 more breaths. Because this is one of those postures where, again, there's always a little bit of holding in those hips, and pigeon pose is such a wonderful posture to help us let that go. And now really, again, become present and aware of your body. Notice if you're holding tension any place, what pops out. And just take a breath in, and as you exhale, can you allow that to let go and release? And if it doesn't, it's not ready yet. It's not the time, it's not the right environment or circumstances. Right? Nothing has to be forced. And then we're gonna ease out of this pigeon on the right side. So come on back up, lift your chest, take a breath. And then tuck your left toes and stretch yourself back through your down dog. Just wiggle out those feet a little bit. Let's move right to the left side. So lift your left leg. And again, you can lift it and just stretch it straight. You could bend your knee. You can circle the hip around. And when you're ready, go ahead and bring your knee to this left thumb. Taking a couple breaths to sit up tall, or transitioning into your sleeping pigeon if that's a better alternative for you. And you can stay upright or fold forward. Let yourself just breathe here, melting wherever melting is possible. And understanding that if something is not letting go, it's okay. It may not be the right time. I think in our lives, we sometimes have so many shoulds. We should be over that. We should want to let that go. We should want to change that. But the shoulds sometimes are not honoring divine timing. They're not aligned with divine timing. Divine timing can surprise us sometimes. And we may not think we're ready for something, but then, there it is, or there it goes. And then other times we think, man, I should have this already, or I should have already released this, and it's still here. Divine timing is not always appearing in sync with what we think, right? And having this perspective sometimes can just take the stress off of us, right? We can intend to let go of something, and if it does, release gracefully. Perfect. It was complete. It was the right time. And if it doesn't, right, we can seek out support in helping us let that go, and we can also understand maybe it's not time. Take about 3 more breaths here. And then when you're ready, walking those hands back if you're in your down dog, tuck your right toes, pull yourself back into a nice stretch here. Just let your hips balance out. And then let your knees come back down to your mat. And we're going to do one more, just a short little spinal movement. And then we'll start to wind things down for today's practice. So spread your fingers again wide. And this time we're going to circle out our spine. So like the cat-cow, but we're going to draw a big circle. So you could move in either direction. And maybe the circle is initiated from your heart or from your belly button, from your tailbone or from your hips. Let it feel good. When we circle our spine like this, we can sometimes get into new territory or places that otherwise we haven't reached yet, because the movement is a little bit more organic. And you can really let your body guide you. So switch directions if you haven't already. Take a couple more circles. Good, and then come back through neutral. And you could cross your ankles and just roll back over your feet until you're sitting on your mat. And then come on down onto your back here. And give your knees a little hug into your chest. Rock a little side to side. And let your arms come out in line with your shoulders and just drop your knees over to one side for an easy, gentle twist. Take a breath in and out. And then lifting those knees up and drop them over to the other side. Big breath in, maybe breathing right down into your spine, your low back, your belly. And then come back up through center. If there's any other little stretches or postures that you'd like to do as part of today's practice, just press pause. You can come back for savasana. Otherwise, go ahead and make yourself comfy for your final relaxation. Taking my ponytail, my bun out so that my head can rest with ease. Maybe you add a blanket over your body, whatever you need to do to feel comfortable here. And then just resting without needing to do anything. Not needing to make anything happen. Not needing to fix anything or change anything or let go of anything, right? We've done a little of that during the practice, and we've been intentional about what we want to release with this full moon energy. But right now, you can just rest. Let yourself just be. Notice how you're feeling. And if you want to keep resting, if you find yourself in a deep space, please stay right where you're at. Give yourself that time. Full moons can, in a way, be exhausting, right? There can be a lot of energy moving, so feel free to rest if you're able to. Rest a little longer. Or begin to stretch, emerging from your savasana. And just letting yourself ease up. Coming back to sit however you'd like. It's nice to just take a moment to close your practice intentionally. So as you come to sit, maybe the eyes close for a moment, reacclimate to being upright. Notice your breath. Extending some gratitude to the moon for sharing its energy with us, for sharing its natural cycles with us and allowing us to engage in meaningful ritual utilizing these cycles of the moon. And again, maybe just acknowledging what is complete for you in your own life, what you're releasing and letting go of on this full moon. And we'll honor that by bringing the palms to press at the front of the chest, taking a deep breath in through the nose, and just sighing out. Have a beautiful rest of your day. Have a beautiful full moon experience. Whatever you intended to let go of today, may it release with grace and ease. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.